What's going on, everybody? Hope you're having a great Monday. We're back again here live with another crypto market update. We're going to be checking out some precious metals, some crypto, obviously, some traditional stocks. Pardon me. I hope you had a great weekend. We got some interesting stuff going on. We're going to be talking about what's going on in the Middle East a little bit, kind of some updates on that. Talk about some Trueflation reports. We got another updated Trueflation report. And as always, we're going to be talking about some XLM, some BTC, a little bit of Ethereum. I also am going to talk about some of my traditional stock plays that I'm looking into. And so if you like today's video, I'd really appreciate it if you like it. If you subscribe for more if you're down for that. I also offer a free Discord. We talk about, we're bearish, we're bullish, we're neutral, sideline. People, we talk about different charts, different perspectives. If you're interested in that, that'll be linked in the description. I also offer a paid Patreon membership with a bunch of more tools, a bunch of more deep dive access, my full trading view access, trading view indicators, and then also we got the Friday premium videos. So if you're interested in any of that, it'll be all linked in the description. Everything is explained as well. So without further ado, let's get into it. So for today we got some green on the charts. We've had green the past couple Mondays, if I'm being honest. We've had green for the past couple Mondays, and then middle of the week, end of the week, things have kind of tanked a little bit. A lot of the decrease in price action, decrease in sentiment in the markets is really due to the conflict in the Middle East, right? I guess right now there's strong negotiations going on in the Middle East for a ceasefire, and if it's not done within the next couple of days, Iran's infrastructure will be targeted: power plants, electrical facilities, water, oil refineries, things like that. So not just military establishments, right? These things are what keep the country afloat, what allows the country to run essentially, and so I'd really like to see negotiations happen, not just for the markets, right? The markets would be a plus, but just for the people, the innocent people that are there, the people that are being run and being almost held hostage by the regime that is in power right now. Because there's a lot of people there that just want freedom. They just want to be able to vote for who's in power. They want to live regular lives. I've been in that section, that region of the country, of the world, and there's a lot of good people over there. Yes, there's a lot of bad people, but there's good and bad people here as well. So win-win if there's some peace going on. If not, then this could drag on for the next couple weeks, right? In terms of the Trueflation, I just posted Trueflation. Trueflation is a real-time view snapshot of what the current inflation is going through. Right now, U.S. inflation today is 1.72, according to Trueflation. Okay, typically Trueflation has been on point. They have. What up, Absurd? What's good, dude? Hope you had a great weekend. Thanks for stopping by, brother. Last week I probably missed you because I was going late. So, I had a medical emergency, and so last week I kind of wanted to take the mornings and kind of ease into my day without too much oomph, right? Because you gotta bring the energy to lives. You can't just be all nonchalant. Hey, how you doing? This, that. No, you gotta be energetic. So, now I appreciate you stopping by. We're gonna be getting into some of the charts that you like to talk about. Drop anything that you're interested in: traditional stocks, precious metals, any kind of crypto. I'll be going into the things that I typically go into. There's some big things going on actually. I posted it in the Discord with Bitcoin dominance and things like that. So, but in terms of Trueflation, I use Trueflation. I've used Trueflation for a long time in terms of it getting in and getting out of markets. Typically, when I was in traditional markets, and they were on point, on target, on point. I think the conflict right now in the Middle East is causing their job to be a little bit more difficult. Right? They're saying, I mean, let's be real. Their inflation was a lot lower, and it rose. It was under 1%, and so it has risen, but we haven't seen the Fed, anywhere near these numbers, and so do I think the next FOMC meeting we're gonna see any kind of interest rates? No, I don't. Pardon me. No interest rate cuts? No, I don't think so. I think if you're expecting that, you're a little bit on hopium. And to be honest, if you get one more month of it, it's fine. The Jerome Powell is out in April's his last month, right? May is the new Fed chair. He'll be running the show over there, getting the governors, getting those people to get on his side for more rate cuts. And rate cuts typically right when they happen. They're kind of bearish a little bit, just a little bit, but then they start to allow the market to breathe, right? The initial reaction is, okay, we're in kind of a trouble spot. We're gonna kind of contract a little bit, then we expand. It's not just an instant expansion, and so just keep that on your minds, is that instant rate cuts doesn't equal it's not instantly up. Okay, a little bit from what I've experienced, it's a little bit of more sideways slash down, just to flush people out because it's such good news, and then it takes people off, and then it takes off. Okay, so in terms of the more kind of macro news, because we like to talk about macro here as well, the Fed is injecting $14 billion this week. Okay, so they're continuing to do this, right? This is not something that QT does. QT doesn't do this. So we're edging into quantitative easing. Okay, it's not full blown quantitative easing. The Fed hasn't announced verbatim, okay, we're in quantitative easing, but the Fed is injecting money into the system. Okay, they're injecting money into the system. That is also the reason for the rise of inflation as well. But in terms of the tightening, the contraction phase, that phase is done. Okay, we've contracted. We have a lot of the crypto market, we've seen that contract really well, but the stock market, you're kind of see that contract a little bit more, even though money is being added. So what is going on? Well, I think a lot of it is being added into, at least for right now, is just going into precious metals, into oil. Okay, and so once those two things kind of stop going crazy, then we'll see traditional stocks kind of rally. We've talked about traditional stocks. The Russell looking a little bit bearish, right? We talked about this for a while, and we're kind of targeting this 2340 level. Just because of this rounded top. It just looked a little bit bearish. This still looks bearish. It still looks like it wants to come down a little bit more. And SPY, it's what I invest in. It's just that sad shape, right? It's that sad shape. We're looking for a bounce right at this just overextended region, right below that 100, or right on that 100. What up, War Machine? If you get a chance, can you look at AAVE? I got you, brother. No, I think AAVE looks actually really good. I got you. I will add that to the queue. I think AAVE is a great looking asset, actually, at least for upside potential, right? Everything kind of still is in limbo. I know we had, it's green today, so people might be excited, but it's kind of there's some room to be desired, right, on these charts, because Monday, we can't get too hyped on Mondays, just because the rest of the week usually is a bloodbath. But so as of right now, that's kind of what's going on in the macro. Gold and silver, we talked about. I kind of want to talk about gold and silver. I just want to touch on it. We talked about gold and silver. We've talked about the correction continuing, and that we want to see some kind of, a little bit of a retracement, right? You don't want to just see down only. Where is it? It's on the daily. Yes, it is. Okay. You don't want to see down only. You do want to see some kind of relief rally. So you might get something like this, and then further correction down to this 4, down through the 4, down to this 36 level. And then that'd be good for the rest of the market. Okay. We do have, like I've said multiple times, you got that red dot on the monthly. If you're interested in my tire setup, I offer that through TradingView. But the red dot on the monthly, that's pretty much that's what you don't want to see on your stocks, on your crypto, or whatever you're invested in. You don't really want to see the red dot of death. Okay, it's almost like Cyclops on your charts. Silver, same concept. We had this actually back in February, and then what happened? Boom, just tanked. So silver did go on a just exponentially larger run than gold, so it can correct larger than gold. I have this trend line up through here. I'm still expecting, silver to come down to this 50, 54 level down through here, and I will buy silver. I'm going to buy silver starting through here. I'm just gonna start accumulating silver. If it doesn't get down there, then I'll look for a different trade. If it does, then that's just part of the process. Is I have a plan. I'm gonna stick to my plan. If it doesn't work out, just move on to the next one. So those two, you know, when people talk about liquidity, I had a great discussion with one of my premium members last week about liquidity. There's no liquidity in the markets. You're going to hear this all over crypto Twitter. You're going to hear this on bear YouTube channels. There's no liquidity. The market's contracting, this, that, and the other. You have to understand that gold and silver are the top. I mean, let's just see top, because I don't know the exact market cap assets in the world. I don't know it exactly, so I don't wanna say something. I don't have the exact numbers. Gold right now is 31 trillion and silver is 3.9 trillion. Okay, so you're looking at, I mean, that is what, 35 trillion dollars of liquidity. 35 trillion dollars. That's almost as much as debt we have, right? Those two assets are worth. So, if silver gets I don't know, a 22% correction, 22% of 3.9 trillion, let's just call it 4 trillion. 25% would be 1 trillion. So you're looking at about $800 billion of freed up liquidity, about $800 billion of freed up liquidity. And then if gold, and these are conservative, I'm not saying silver's going to $30. This is down to $50. Okay, if gold comes down to that 30, 37, 3600, that's a 16% move. It's gonna be a little bit harder. 31. That's fifth. What? I can just let me just do it this way, because I'm too lazy to do that. It's too early. I haven't had all my coffee yet. You saw me do some brain power. I can't use it all right now. Let's do 31 times 0.16. Okay, so it'd be $4.96 trillion. $4.96 trillion if gold corrected that much. Okay, so that's kind of what we're talking about in the sense that these two assets control the amount of liquidity in the market. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into what most people are here for. Okay, most people are here for the overall what's going on in the markets. Okay, what's going on in the markets. XLM, I actually want to start with XLM versus BTC. I'm a big XLM guy. XLM's my largest holding. I haven't been shy about that, okay? But XLM versus Bitcoin is printing something marvelous. I'm telling you right now, it's printing something that I think people should really start to pay attention to, okay? So XLM versus BTC, okay? So we've had, since I got this trend line all the way from 2021, essentially the end of the last bull market, okay? And it has kind of, fallen all the way down through here, barely breaking out of this golden zone, okay? Barely breaking out of golden zone, right? Golden zone is that excellent value, that accumulation zone. Green is that good value. That transparent is fair value. Slightly overextended, moderately overextended, extremely overextended, okay? We're not entering in areas that is extremely, all throughout here, I'm not entering anything through there. Fair value, if I'm entering something, I'm using a tight stop loss to make sure that I don't get absolutely wrecked. But if we come over through here on this 3-week chart, I know you see it, because if I can see it, you can see it, okay? You got this green dot on this 3-week chart, okay? It's a green dot. So let's just go back 3 times, 4 times, whatever. Let's go back 4 times. So let's go all the way back to July of 2023. Okay, so we got 1 right through here. Let's just mark it like this. Hope you all had a great weekend. I'm a UFC guy, so I watched Adesanya versus Pyfer. It was a great fight. A little bit of March Madness. Had a chill weekend, so hopefully you guys had one as well. Hopefully you guys did something that you enjoyed. Went and touched some grass. It's hard to do sometimes, but you got to get out. Got to get away. So this is what we got. So the last 4 times that this dot printed, okay, the last 4 times this printed on the 3-week chart, we had a run up through here. We had nothing right here, but nothing right here. Nothing right here. You came back down. You actually took out some lows. Okay, so we got one good. Okay, let's do this. We got one good one. We got one good. We got one bad. Okay, so that's a 50%. That's nothing really reliable. Okay, what is this? That was great. That was November. Okay, that was great. And then this is July, June. Right, so that was that July run. Okay, so 3 out of the last 4 times when this dot printed, it was bullish. Okay, so now let's take into consideration the fact that we've been correcting. Okay, we've been correcting. This is a 3-week chart, so it's just tons and tons and tons of weeks. You're coming down to a point where you need to make a decision, right? We've talked about making a decision, over the last month or two, month and a half, right? So, I mean, yeah, like 2 months, pretty much by the middle of February, so a month and a half, that we're looking for the end of February, the beginning of April for a move. Okay, so we're getting that time frame where does the move have to be up? No, it doesn't have to be up, but we're looking for something. It's been going sideways for weeks. Okay, weeks and weeks and weeks. It's been going sideways. A lot of bad news at the bottoms. Crypto Twitter is dead. Sentiment is in the gutter. And so what are we looking for? We're looking for a cross above the moving average on the RSI, which would be extremely bullish, and for this green dot to close. So still 3 weeks. A lot can happen in 3 weeks. That thing can go away. But as of right now, everything is looking very, very, very good, very solid. Okay. DJT, yeah, whatever. So let's get into, Bitcoin dominance. I do want to get into Bitcoin dominance because I did post this I posted this in the Discord, right? And I just kind of want to talk about it real quick. The last time that this happened, where we had a monthly close below the 20 EMA, was back here in February 2021. Okay, let's check out, AAV in 2021. Okay, let's just check this out since we had Machine ask about it. Okay, so 2021. So right here, look at this thing. I mean, it already had gone on a parabolic run, but it still went up for, an additional 1, 2, 3. So it was 3 months of upside action. Okay, it went from $297 up to $449, all the way down from $27. That's insane. That's insane. So that's kind of the idea that what's going on right now is the floodgates. Yes, this is a inverted hammer. It can be bullish. It can be bullish if next month closes above this open. Right? If next month comes up and closes above that open, that's bullish. That's how it works. Okay, inverted hammer on the bottoms of a trend are bullish. Inverted hammers on the top are called shooting stars. Okay, those are bearish. That's not one. That's where it would be. Okay, that's where it'd be. So we got that close down below. The one thing that is, being annoying as usual is Bitcoin dominance cannot seem to close or stay below the 100. Okay, so we've had the 100 EMA on the weekly chart. It came down through here, it wicked, it closed, but then what did it do? Then it ran right back up to that 50. And so, can this do it again? Of course it can. Of course it can. So, if this closes above the 100 again, I'm expecting Bitcoin dominance to come back up to the 50. That's just kind of what's been going on. You've been consolidating between the 50 and the 100. Very tight, very compact. A big move is coming, and I mean large percentage points, not something down to 55 or whatever, and not something up to 62 or something. Like, if this comes up, this is gonna it's gonna be something where you come up in 3 and you're rejecting somewhere up through here, right? Previous areas of support, like right here, maybe it's 62%. Okay, so 4% up. That is still a lot though. For Bitcoin dominance, that's 7% up. Could be more. It could break all-time highs. I don't know about that, but it could possibly do that. It is compacting. It is in a contraction phase, and so patience is key right through here. In terms of we're gonna get into. I do want to get into Bitcoin. Okay. So the reason why we're going to get into Bitcoin here, actually I do need this. I do, is because on the daily, on the weekly, you're above your monthly open. Good for you. You got how many days? You got monthly is you got 1 day and 7 hours. That would look really nice if Bitcoin can close above the monthly open. That would look really nice. You got this huge wick, but you're still above the 50 on the monthly. You're looking somewhat bullish, right? Somewhat bullish. Almost just you're just not as bearish as many people want you to be. But the one thing that I've cause for concern, we got to be concerned about this, is we've already rejected this monthly open. We've already came up, rejected it. If we come up through here on like today and reject the monthly open, I am targeting, especially if we close below $66,945, I'm targeting 58,000 down to 55, 53,000. So it's pretty simple, right? We close below here, I'm targeting down here, somewhere down through here. That's just the way it is, right? I think you'll take out lows. I mean, could you go down to 53? Of course, you can go down lower than that. But I really do think this low would be taken. And that's the main thing is, if this low is taken, alts are probably going to go down. That would allow Bitcoin dominance to go up. Kind of what we were talking about, where it doesn't want to close below the 100. It's going to come back up, Bitcoin dominance at least, and back test the 50 EMA. Okay, so in terms of Bitcoin, that's what I got for Bitcoin until I keep it simple. If you're down below, I mean, like you are right now, if you're down below, then we're targeting down here. If you close above, then we're targeting 71,000 again. And look what it did. Look what Bitcoin did right here on Wednesday. Last week Wednesday, closed at 71,301. I mean, you can't even make it up. It came right up to this level and rejected. And so what did we get? We got an instantaneous down. And I talked about this with one of the Discord members in a live call, and we talked about this where if it can't defeat 71,000, it's going to come down here and sweep these lows because of the heat maps. I know you guys have all seen them. Everyone's posting the heat maps everywhere. Bunch of liquidity. People are just longing the crap out of it to make up all the money that they've lost. I don't use leverage. That's the reason why. It's because it's just so easily manipulated where you can lose everything. Okay, I'm not a big fan of that. So XLM right now. Yep, I'll get to XRP. I will get to XRP. I promise. I will get to XRP. So XLM, we're trading in this wedge pattern, through here. Okay, this wedge again. So we broke out of this. This is that weekly channel. Okay, this weekly channel broke out. You're going sideways, but it doesn't look that good. It really doesn't look that nice. I would honestly at this point, if you can't get out an impulse, if you can't do that, just come up through here, come down, take out some lows, then start working on something like that, and then go up. Okay. Until then, right now you're stuck in between this range of 18.5 and 13.6. So you can come up through here, come back down, come up, come down, then start working your way up. Okay. You can just ping pong back and forth. We've already touched the highs once, twice. So market makers have come up and grabbed that short liquidity. What do you think's next? More than likely coming down through here, checking that out. So usually XRP leads the move for XLM. XRP now seems like XLM is the leader. It does, because it does look like that, right? Because XLM is, I do have a XRP XLM. It does look like that just because I think XLM just has a higher return on investment possibility. If XRP gets to, $4, or sorry, not $4. What am I tripping on? Not $4. What do I got on here? The weekly. Do I got XRP? Yeah, here we go. $7. Where it's at right now, $7. I mean, that is a pretty good return on investment. That's 400%. For XLM, and that's $7. That's I do think XRP will go higher eventually, but as of right now, I don't know. I don't. This next move is just it's just so tricky. I have $1.11 as of right now. As of right now. So I do think XLM can go even higher. If we're looking at XLM on log scale, because I had a question about that log scale versus standard scale. Yeah, since it did not break all-time highs last bull market. Yeah, so this is probably what you're referring to. If I put this on log scale, like this, right? If I put this on log scale, where you just have this area where it's got rejected, it got rejected, it got rejected. It's formed. I mean, if we're really talking about XLM, the reason why I'm so bullish on XLM is you almost have a 1-2. I think you do have a 1-2. You have an ABC3. You have a fourth wave move, right? So you have a fourth wave move coming down through. You almost have like your A, B, C, and then you almost have like a W, X, Y. So you almost have like an A, B, C, D, E. So you got a full correction in through here. This is a correction. This is a correction. These aren't even bull runs. That's what's crazy to me is XLM I was targeting $2 minimum. Yeah, you're right. I think XLM will do great things. But the thing that I'm curious about, and I do think it's gonna, I do have up to 160. I mean, if we're realistic right here and we hide all this stuff right here for long-term purposes, right? Long-term purposes. And we just take the 2-wave low. We're just going to take the 2-wave low to the best of my abilities. 2-wave low to the 3rd wave high, down to the 4th wave low. I think that's the 4th wave low. It is. I was pretty damn close. Sweet. Okay, so, I mean, look at these numbers. Look at these numbers up here. Do I think that, XLM can hit 140 to 230? Yes, I do. I do, especially up to this 443 level, because that's at 786. But for me personally, I'm just yeah, see, like you said, $5 to $6, you're out of XRP, majority of it. Yeah, no, I agree, and that's kind of what I'm not going to be out of XLM. Maybe I'll be. I haven't made that decision yet. I know I'm going to be. I know where I'm taking profits, but right now, it just really depends on this retracement zone up to 50, this 52-cent mark. Because I mean, XLM realistically can come back up, reject, flag out again. Not form new lows, but just flag out, right? Come back down, and then go up, and then go up, right? There's always that possibility. And so I'm making sure that I did it last time, and I was very grateful, taking profits up through here, taking a lot of profits up through there, and I was nervous and I was doing it, but at the end of the day, it saved my butt. But your $2 minimum is not out of the question. If you're really thinking about this on log scale, the 1-to-1 extension is $17. The 1618 is $1,000. See, if we're looking at these numbers, these are insane numbers. I don't know, that's just that's too much. But just through here, the 618 all the way to the 786, very plausible for this run. Okay, but I don't like, if I talk about those numbers and I get and I promote that as my main thesis, my main view, then it's just not. I don't think it's beneficial to talk about those numbers right now. I just don't. Not right now. Once we're up through here and we break out through here, we get above this, we start doing something like this, then I'm like, okay, we can talk about taking out all-time highs. We can talk about breaking a dollar. We can talk about, getting up to $2, $2.50. I'm just not the type of guy that I'm not going to clickbait you guys. I'm not going to farm views. I'm not going to say, oh, XLM is going to get to $4 where I think it could go when it's down at 16 cents. Once we get up through here and we break above this, then it's okay. That possibility becomes realistic. Until then this is just a big old area where if I'm telling you $4, $4, $4, and then you come and reject up through here, then what happens? Then my people who are in my Discord, people in my premium, who I know this isn't financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but let's be real. When people are talking about certain levels, you get your hopes like, oh, I'm going to sell at this, and then it doesn't get there, then you just get absolutely wrecked. And so I'm more about, establishing a plan, making sure you stick to your plan, and having some wiggle room to make adjustments. Um, there you go. Yep. Just never really out of the game. It sucks to not have anything left in the bag to ride it out. Also, it sucks when you don't take profit and to hold the bag forever. Yes, this is true. Absurd. Yeah, it's you gotta pay yourself dealing with this BS of crypto because um, it is it is at this point Bitcoin, crypto is a little bit of BS, right? It's a little bit of BS. And look at this, so it's closing down below the monthly. And you got one day to close above the monthly. So, but yeah, just paying yourself, taking some off the table, sticking to a plan. I do outline that in the Profit Lab series. I go through my exact levels, what I'm doing. So if you're interested in that, that's what another form of Patreon is. So I talk about those levels. I talk about assets I'm getting in, where I'm getting out, things like that. Um, so, I do want to go through. I think I'm just gonna make a video on Degen and Jasmy on Monday. I think so. There's just not a lot going on right now for Degen. If I'm being honest, there's not a lot going on. There's a lot of bullish divergence. There's a lot of bullish, indicators going off. But in terms of what's going on right now, it's not all that interesting. And I'm not gonna lie and try to convince you otherwise. Jasmy on the other hand, we can talk about Jasmy. Jasmy on the other hand is, you know, this coin is just killing me right now. This coin is killing me. We're down below the monthly open. We're back. I mean, we've hit this multiple times. We closed right on it. Right on it. This is at 518. This closed at 5. What was it close? 520. So like right above it. I have this. I make a decision by this is that last little week. Make a decision by next week. Maybe you just go sideways. I mean, this thing has been going sideways since February 2nd. So 2 months of just sideways action, nothing going on. Extremely boring, but that's kind of the way the cookie crumbles. In terms of what this chart can do, I've already talked about it multiple times, but the longer we go sideways for Jasmy, the better it is, I think. Right? The better it is. Because we got prices all the way up through here. 12, 13, 14, 15 cents. I'm in for around, right under a penny. So under, just, tons and tons and tons of upside potential, which looks great. Chainlink actually looks kind of bearish, if I'm being honest. Chainlink looks bearish to me right now. It's down below the monthly open. It's been going sideways. We had this decision time to be made, so now we can get rid of this. It didn't make a decision there. It's not. I mean, we can leave it one more week, but it is rejecting up through there. Not a great look for Chainlink. Upside prices from 37 to 44, all the way up to $67 for this next move. Obviously, it could go higher. This is not based on the log scale. This is just based off of the current price action and current structure. So, but Chainlink right now, it's not my strongest holding. Not at all. Still waiting on a green dot on that 3-week chart. That'd be very ideal. AAVE, this thing we had, I covered AAVE a long time ago. Oh, got a red dot on the weekly chart, so that's not great. That's not great at all. So machine, just make note of that. You got a red dot, but but you know, this is starting to just, you know, you're getting a higher low, okay, and you're getting lower lows. Okay, so I mean at this point in time, the MACD looks like it is cooling off. When you get something like this where you're just slowly losing bearish momentum, and you're correcting, you know, you could expect maybe one more sweep of the lows. Do I have anything on this? I don't. Maybe on the daily. Maybe it's on the daily. It is on the daily. Yeah, I had this a long time ago. I can't even remember the last time I made an AAVE video. Man, this thing, that thing is brutal, brutal, brutal. Wow. Look at all these. Look at these. These just, I mean, they worked out. They were previous. They tried to bounce. I mean, AAVE, you came down, you rejected, took out the lows, you came up, rejected, tried to bounce, rejected. So this 113 to 127 is huge. In terms of where this thing is at right now, I kind of just want to see. I mean, dang. Let's do this. Wow. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna take this. We're gonna take this 1-2 setup right through here. Okay. Pardon me. Let me get some water. Yep, measures up pretty well with everything else I've had. 1618 is at $82. $82. I think if, you know, if crypto does take another dive, I think that's a level where you could see this thing going. Let's see if anything else matches up with that. 82. So if we got a 1-2. Okay. Now we're looking for a third and a fourth wave. Where's the third and fourth wave? You know, almost as if you got like an A, B, C, A, B, C for a third wave. Coming down for a fourth, then you need a fifth wave. That'd be bad. That'd be really bad. 45. It's not. I can't say there's no way, but I gotta. Wait, what I just do? You know what? Whatever. Let me just do this. Let me do this. $46. That's right there. Okay, so we're at. So what are we at? So we need to check and see what's going on. Okay, so you got, you know, this is Coinbase, and it still has that ugly wick. So you got a 1-2. You almost have like an A, B. I mean, you could have a C through here, and then this is your fourth wave. That's your fifth wave. But if we're being conservative, you got a 1-2, almost like a third wave. This is like a fourth, and you got like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, the fifth wave doesn't have to be that extended. It really doesn't. It really doesn't. What about the weekly? What do we got on the weekly? Might be easier to see. I mean, you got two of these right through here. Right, two rallies right through there. Almost as if, you know, you got this 1-2, this A, B, C, 3, come down for a fourth, and you're coming up for a fifth. Kind of want to see what the that's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. That is not going to work. I don't like that. I don't like that. I'm getting my thinking on, my thinking cap on. There's just not a lot of touch points with what is. I mean, that's the most recent. That's the most recent. We want to extend that to the right. I mean, you almost want something like down through here. So how's that rejection? Something like right there. Okay, let's check this out. Let's see what we got going on. Let's check it out. Okay, right at the top end of it. It's kind of scary if I'm being honest. Kind of scary a little bit. But okay, yeah, so and you got those two clean rejection points through there. I mean, but overall, very bullish. Still, I mean, even overall, still bullish. I know you know, your people are probably thinking, you know, you got this cup handle. This has come all the way down through, so it pretty much negated all of that idea. But it doesn't negate the fact that you have cupped into resistance, and so what you're looking for now is another cup up through here. So that 328, something up through there, 328. That's going to be a big resistance zone. That's almost like that 52-cent range of XLM, 328, 330, looking kind of scary up through there. Right now, I've said it multiple times, and I'll say it again. For me personally, when I'm dealing with the assets that I own, the assets that are down, okay, I'm not too worried about. I mean, up through here is a little bit, you know, it could be some downside, but the main thing is when we come up through here, that's when I would be worried, because you can get rejected here and then it's over, and then you got to come back down for another 7, 8, 9 months. You know, you go sideways. You don't. You know, you get another huge fake out. That could definitely be a possibility where you come up one more time, right? Because this could just be your A wave. Then you come up for a B. Then you come down for a C. A lot of these charts have that possibility where then you come down for a C. Right? Could you have a type of flat pattern where you have an A, you have a B, and then you come up and then you come down for a C? Yes, you could. Yes, you could. So we're not looking. So we're trying to establish that we want 5 waves up, 5 nice clean waves up. No BS, no confusion, none of that. So that's kind of what I got for AAVE. Right now it's in between 113 and 82. It's right in the middle of it. I would be it's a little bit worrisome for sure. A little bit worrisome for sure. What about the, you know, I kind of want to check out this RSI real quick. This thing got moved around and it's not where I'd like it to be. Almost like right there you want it. You don't want that because that's not anything. Right there. Okay. So you got some work to do on the RSI. Do we have any kind of divergences on the RSI? Is that a lower low? It is a lower low. So you got, I mean, that's bullish divergence, right? You got higher lows, you got lower lows. Okay. Nope. Okay. So at least on the RSI. On the RSI, it looks like it wants to reverse, but you know, until you break above this, I would say above 127, you're really just going sideways, right? You came up. Almost looks like XLM where you're going to come back down and you come back up in 3. Maybe you flag out. I would really like this thing to break above 127, flag out, back test previous areas of resistance. Okay, so those are the levels I got for AAVE. I got you, machine. Hopefully you have a good rest of your day. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. In terms of XRP, XRP is very similar to XLM. Very similar. Very, very, very similar. Down, but look at XRP though. It's down below its monthly open. It's not a great look. Not a great look at all. That's not good, and it's almost rejecting your monthly open. I mean, 137. What was the high? 136. It's not great. It's not great. So we're gonna take out a lot of this jargon. We don't need a lot of that. The reason why I don't need a lot of it is because it's still just going sideways, and it looks kind of ugly, right? It just looks kind of ugly. And so right now we're below 153. I'm targeting lower levels. You know, I mean, what was it? 111 all the way to 92 cents. 92 cents. That's pretty low, right? That's pretty low for XRP. You're down in this green value, right? XLM's in the golden zone already, so XRP's held on for a lot longer. 500 on XRP. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. $500 XRP. That would be maybe in 10 years, maybe something like that. Right now, you know, I've made it pretty known that, you know, XRP, you know, $7, $7 to $9 up through there, would be ideal. Would be ideal in terms of, you know, that was from XRP from previous areas. Okay, so let's take this two wave, low, high, low, and if we make new lows, that'll change. Right, that'll change. That will change. It has changed. Right, so that's the last time I made it. That's crazy. So, but I knew there was that 950 was in there somewhere, but I mean, the 2 extension is fine as well. You know, the 2618 is just that full move, and these are just truncated moves. So, but yeah, no, I don't have $500. I'm sorry. You know, I wish this thing could go to $500, but I don't know. Not right now. Not right now. So somewhere in the middle, that'd be pretty safe bet. But right now, you know, it just doesn't. XLM looks so much better. XLM looks so much better. It's kind of baffling to me that, you know, you're getting these green dots on these 2 weeks, on these possibly 3 weeks. Nope, not yet. And still no real price action movement yet. You don't like XLM right now on the MACD has a green little bar, so that means, you know, bullish momentum is building. Nothing on XRP yet for that. So XRP a little bit more to be desired in terms of what's going on. You know, I had this chart just to see what was going on. It came down 3 rejected, so we're gonna go ahead and get rid of that. It's no buenos. No buenos. That's this chart right there. Okay, so we can just look at XRP real quick. On the daily, it's in the golden zone. It's in the golden pocket. But, you know, down through here doesn't look... I mean, you kind of want something like this. At this point, you want something like this to happen. You want to take out lows. See how this did not take out the lows, but this took out those lows. Okay, and this double bottom, that's kind of what we want right now. So we want to take out some lows. You know, let's get a bars pattern on here. And right after this candle was the reversal. So just so we know. So we can check it out. Yeah, I'm into Chainlink too. Yeah, I am. I can talk about Chainlink. I don't really get a lot of feedback from Chainlink. Not a lot of people seem interested in Chainlink, so I let people know I'm in it. I give some brief analysis on it, but um, I can cover. Are you in Chainlink, Absurd? Because if you are, I can check it out. I can kind of dive deeper into it. But yes, I'm in Chainlink. My biggest positions are XLM and Chainlink. Jasmy and Degener. They're my meme coin slash high risk play. Um, but see, this just looks so much different. This looks different. Where I mean, you know what? It doesn't have to be exactly the same. It really doesn't. It doesn't. I'm actually starting to see something. Okay, I'm starting to see something. But the one thing is, there's no. The difference is, here's the difference. The main difference. Okay, this is what we don't have yet, and which means we haven't even started anything like this, which is brutal. Brutal to think. We don't have. So this right here has 5 waves. You got one, two, A, B, C, three. You have a four, and then you came up for a five. You came up in five clear waves. We don't have that here. We have an impulse. We have one bar, and then you oscillate down. So you have a 1, 2, and you have a 3. You have a 3-wave move. That's it. Put a 1, 2, 3. And then what'd you do? Then you came down through here. You channeled a little bit. All right, took out the lows. Came up through here, took out the highs. Back test, and then go. But it's it's not ideal. It's not ideal because what do we have, right? What do we have? We have a 1, 2. Okay, then we have an A, B, C. That's not a third wave. That's ugly. That's so ugly. I'm waiting for a lower low, to be honest, on Link. I would buy $4 to $5 in the blink of an eye. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll talk about Chainlink here in a bit. I can actually talk about it. I won't make a video on it. Pardon me. The thing that does look similar is the fact that you kind of have like this ugly move right through here. We have this ugly move up through here, and then boom, boom, take out the lows, taking out the lows. Okay, but what happened? We had one more low. So as of right now, crypto, it does look like it wants to. It does look like it wants to take out some more lows. And if we take out these lows, right, we come down through here. Why not just take out these lows? Why not take those lows out? That's my idea of it. Is why not come down through here, take out these lows, take out everybody, then come up through here and then go. All right, but do it in 5 ways, right? Come down, then come up in 1, 2, A, B, C, 3, come down in a 4, come up in a 5, something like that. That would look really nice. And then you could, get in here, come down, oscillate down, oscillate down, oscillate down, and then you really explode and you go crazy. That would be my ideal situation. Right now, there's just not. We can hope for it all we want. We can say the low is in right now until 153 is broken, and until you get 5 clean waves up. I don't see a low. I don't see a low being in right now. I don't. I think there's a lot of liquidity being built up with the sideways price action. So there you go. Yep, I agree. Yeah. Yeah. That's a great plan. That's a great plan. Absurd. Stick to your plan. Right. Have a plan. Stick to it, so you can execute that to the best of your ability. As of right now, it does look like crypto wants to take out previous lows just with the current structure it's in. That's what it looks like. Does it have to play out? No. A lot of people are calling for Bitcoin to go to 40 something thousand. I think those people are going to be screwed. I just don't think it goes that low. For right now, for Chainlink, I do kind of want to get rid of this because it's just not playing out. It's not. You've come down, you're rejecting a previous. I mean, there's no other touch points though, so it's almost like you came down through here and rejected right there, and then rejected, just like that. So yeah, chain link definitely, it definitely looks like it wants a little bit lower. 100, it does. But the thing with chain link is it's already hit a 2618 move from this high. Okay, we can use this. Okay, fine, we won't use that. We'll use this. Still hit the 2618. Hit the 2618. All right, we can use this. Okay, 2618. You know, it's already hit the 2618. The 3414 of this move is down at 552. Pardon me. It's insane. That is insane, but probable. It could happen. But my whole thing is this move to the downside is already, we already talked about XLM hitting the 2618, XRP hitting the 2618, which is at $9. That's like saying, so here's what my mind is going to. Okay, we already established that we passed the 2618. Okay, we already established that. So that's like us looking at XRP, something we already talked about, we already covered, right? The 2618 was at 950. Okay, was at 950. That's like XRP doing this, right? You're doing this, you come up, and it's up through here. And that's like us, that's like me making a video, right? That's the 2618. That's like me making a video and saying, you know what, XRP I think is going to go to $25 to $30. Already at $9. I think XRP is going to keep going. That's where we're at. I think in the this correction is you're already at levels, deep retracement levels. You're already deep in retracement. Sentiment is absolutely terrible, and so can we take out these? Of course we. If XRP was at 950 and the 2618's at a 925 and it went up to $10.5, $11. It doesn't mean that the move, is going to go way past that. It just is past that extension because of the FOMO, because of the sentiment, because of the greed, right? But that doesn't mean it's going to keep going parabolic. And that's, I think, what a lot of people are missing is you've already had the parabolic downside. You've already had that. This is it. This is that, right? You should have been shorting up here, right here, possibly right here. Shorting right here, that's, you could get some gains to it, but that's highly risky because you can come down very quickly, take out lows, and be out of here, and it's over, right? The correction is over, and I mean the correction is over, if we're being honest, and now you're looking at upside. So what if you get a crazy crisis, energy crisis, oil goes up to 2 to 250, market crashes, and nobody willing to risk assets like crypto, like we had in COVID? So what if we have an energy crisis where no one's in crypto? I'm guessing no one's in traditional stocks. So like a total market collapse. Is that what you're asking? Like a total black swan market collapses. Everyone runs for the hills. Everyone takes their money out of risk on assets. Is that what you're asking? So like if the war with Iran goes on for a long period of time, they close the strait. Is that what you're saying? Or if we take out all of their oil manufacturing? Because I have an answer. I have an answer. Okay. So, it's a very good question. And a lot of people have been bringing this up. People have asked it in the Discord as well. You've probably seen it. We got a couple people in there that are thinking, we're going to enter a very large recession, and that, run for food and toilet paper. Yeah, like really bad. So, what a lot of people don't, at least this is just my opinion, right? It could be 100% wrong, but what a lot of people don't seem to factor in is that manufacturing is actually back in the United States. Fracking is back in the United States. The oil that we have in the United States is now being unlocked. All right, it's being unlocked. It was capped. It's now being unlocked like crazy. Okay, we have our embassy in Venezuela just opened up again. So one of the largest oil reserves on our hemisphere, we now have an embassy in. We are now on working terms with Venezuela. Okay. I think the oil issue in Iran is actually more detrimental to China than it is to us, Russia than it is to us, right? That side of the hemisphere. In terms of, and that's why you see Japan. I don't know if you've paid attention, but Japan has really separated itself from that side of the hemisphere and has started to just, deals with America, bringing manufacturing to America. They're really separating themselves because they see what's going on, and the fact that the choke point of the strait is terrible for the world. Yes, it's bad for the world. It's Oil prices will go up, but it's really, really bad for that side of the world because they rely solely on that. They rely so heavily on Iran's crude oil that you know, well, where we don't. We have we have some of the most oil in the world, and for people to think we're going to enter a recession while at the lows, it doesn't surprise me. So that's kind of what I'm thinking is, recession talks, they don't happen at the top of bull markets, right? They don't happen during euphoria. They always they happen at the lows when people have lost money, when people have lost jobs, right? Because we've got the AI. That I think AI is a bigger factor in a crisis than oil, actually, believe it or not, because of the jobs that it's going to replace, um, and and just weaken the economy overall, right? Just eliminate jobs, not where okay jobs we're pulling back on this sector because we're pulling back on this sector on we're not hiring in as many roughnecks because whatever we're buying more oil overseas if the current administration is doing that, or we're not hiring market executives because we haven't passed our earnings. Okay, those things come back. Those jobs will come back as the market recovers. But jobs being lost to AI, those jobs aren't coming back. They're not. People aren't just going to get those jobs back. They're going to have new jobs, maybe maintaining AI. I don't know. But I do think the AI crisis is more detrimental to the world economy than right now the oil, just because what we've done to Venezuela and the fact that we're unlocking a lot of the reserves, we're fracking, we're doing the things that we should be doing when we have that much oil. Running for food and toilet paper. Yeah, I mean, my wife and I keep a good amount of she's kind of a she's I mean I think a lot of women are they're nervous about a lot of things, but yeah, we've stocked up on food, not as of recent, but previously. I think during COVID, it was like bought these they're almost like MREs. They're good for 20 years. Bought tons of them. But in terms of the recession that a lot of people think we're going to be into or we're entering into, um, I've talked about it a couple times. There's a technical recession in which the GDP prints 2 consecutive quarters negatively, and that is something that we've been in. We've been in a technical recession since the end of 2022. Okay, so we've been in a technical recession, and so that's why that quantitative tightening we talked about at the very beginning of the live stream was so tight. Okay, that contraction has been so severe, and still with that, crypto and the stock market has ran because of the amount of liquidity that they printed up through COVID. It was really like a fattened calf or a fattened cow, where it was bloated. It's backed by paper money that's really not valuable. And so right now, I do think the contraction phase is coming to an end. I do think that, this gold and silver rising up right as this is happening, I don't think is a coincidence. I think a lot of liquidity is going to flow from those assets into, your Nvidias, your Apples, your traditional stocks, your blue chip stocks, then possibly your Russell stocks, then into your crypto, your Bitcoin, your Ethereum, then into altcoins. Um, when we look at, I do want to check something out too, just to kind of, so I'm not just blowing smoke, right? So I'm not just blowing smoke. Okay. We got Bitcoin versus gold here. You've probably seen this chart a bunch of times. Probably a bunch of times. And the last time that this was down through here was in 2022, I believe. All right, 2022. Okay, 2022. Right as we entered a technical recession. Okay, right as we entered a technical recession. So Bitcoin was that's where the narrative of a store of value came into play, is because the markets were, everything was kind of sketchy and Bitcoin was doing fairly well, really well actually. And so what do we come down through here? We are hitting this trend line again at a very particular time in which the markets are terrible. People are talking about a recession. Um, the world is at war almost, right? I mean, it's essentially at war. This was right around that time we pulled out of Afghanistan, and then the Middle East actually just started going crazy. So, I think 2022 is when the Russia-Ukraine war started actually too. Let me see. Yeah, Russia-Ukraine war. 2022, since 2022, right there. So yeah, the Russia-Ukraine war, 2022. So we had technical recession. Okay, I mean I can give you, it was technical recession 2022. So you can technical recession 2022. Yep. So I'm trying to get the exact timing of it. Yeah, so it's the third quarter, because it was quarter one and quarter two printed negative GDP. So quarter three of 2022. So quarter three of 2022. January, February, March, April, May, June. So July of 2022. Wait, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. Yeah, so July of 2022. So right through here. Okay. We had that last final flush, bounce, and then go. Where are we at right now? We're at a trend line from 2022. Looks pretty. I mean, it looks pretty healthy so far. You got bullish. Wow, I haven't. That's incredible. So this actually printed a bullish divergence through here. This was not here previously. So this printed a bullish divergence, and so we have bullish divergence on three different indicators. Okay, so we got a higher low, and we got lower lows, lower lows, lower lows. That's good. That's good, right? So that means, gold had its run, gold had its fun, and now it's Bitcoin's turn, or soon to be. We have a green dot on the 3-week chart. Okay, we have a green dot on the 3-week chart. Okay, so when's the last time we had a green dot on the 3-week chart? When the wave was below zero. So this is the zero line. Okay, so we had bada bing, bada boom. Did it? Was it straight up? No, it wasn't actually. You came up and then you set new lows. Then you bounced. So, with that in mind, the idea that we can set new lows for Bitcoin is still not out of the question yet. Still not out of the question yet, okay? Even with this green dot. Even with that green dot, pardon me. I'm really thinking until we close above this 40381. Okay? Right. Then that's when we're looking good. If we come up in three waves like this, that's probably really bad. That's probably really bad. You did something like that here. You came up in three, and then you just boom, tanked. Okay? So we come up in three. We're, hide your kids, hide your wives. It's probably going to get ugly out here. So overall, and you got a big green dot. Okay? Let me see something through here. I mean, it looks bullish. Things are looking bullish. The last thing I kind of want to talk about, I already talked about Chainlink, talked about XLM, XRP, AAVE. I want to talk about Total 3 versus Bitcoin. Total 3 versus Bitcoin. This has all been done without hindsight. All right, we go in, we put some levels on there. If we're wrong, we say we were wrong. We change it up. I haven't touched this. I haven't touched anything from this. You can go back months ago. This has remained the same. And what we're doing now in this 10.56, we just cannot get through it. I don't know what the heck the deal is, but 10.56, you cannot get above this. So this is big. This is total 3. So everything versus Bitcoin, essentially. So what we got is a close. If we get a close, right? If we get a close above 10.21, pardon me, my voice is cracked a little bit. Maybe it's an indication I need some water. Absurd. I hope I answered your question. I hope I answered your question about the crisis. And that's just my opinion. I can be 100% wrong. Those are just kind of the ideas that I've been thinking about for a long time regarding the situation of the current market right now. So back through here in 2018, when we saw after we saw the run up, right, and then we saw the large correction, right, tried to bounce through here. This is an area where you tried to hold above it. Okay, you got down below, took out some lows, came above it, back testing areas, came back. Once you really back tested that area, that's when it just capitulated everybody. Okay, everyone capitulated. Really bad time to be buying, right? To be buying up here, which is probably a really bad time to be buying. All right, appreciate it, bro. Thanks for letting me know. And so since then, right? So since or after that, came down through here. You tried to work your way up, came back down. Once you got above there decisively, game over. Okay, altcoins were going crazy. Okay, this is at February 2021, like we talked about for Bitcoin dominance, where it really started to, you close below that 20 EMA on the monthly. This chart really started to run. And so what we got here now is, you came down, you bounced, okay, came down again, took out those lows. So you got the tweezers, right? They're just dipping their beak, just fighting back and forth. You close down below it, close it above it, close down below it, wicked above it, but you close right on it and you just reject right on it. Okay, so that's this first area. Okay, all through here, and you kind of play around down here, and then November, everyone thinks it's a bull market. No, it's not. It's not even a bull market. It's like this down through here. It's like this right here. It's almost identical to this. Okay, it's a shorter time period. Okay, but you come up through here, you reject. Okay, and what do? You make new lows. You come up and you reject. You make new lows. Okay, and so what happens? What happens? Is you make new lows. You go down for months and months and months and months. And then what happens? You have a nice 1-2 setup. This is from we all know it, the October 10th collapse, the October 10th liquidation event. Okay, so you have this 1-2 setup, and now you're in this third wave. So do we have 3 waves up and we're going to reject and then come back down in 3? That could possibly be a scenario. Pardon me. And, crypto is put in the dark ages for the next couple months. Okay. Or we have the idea right now where, on the monthly, that we are rejecting the 786 on the first attempt, which is totally normal. You rarely just get through on the first time. So this first month you came up, couldn't even get to your 886. 786 took out a lot of steam from your sale. Sometimes I'm dyslexic when I say things. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. It is what it is. Then you come up right through here, you reject right on this 786. Per the monthly, there'll be different 786s for the weekly and the monthly. You rejected like right on there. Okay, but you're closing above this trend line we've already established and talked about. You're closing above your 618. Okay, so this next month, if we close above 10.21, I'm going to get rid of all the other. I'll adjust it, and I'm going to use this 786 10.66. Okay, so you can come back down, flag out maybe. Maybe if we see a correction, maybe it flags out, and then we go. Okay, but it looks positive. It looks good. It looks healthy. You had this green dot back here on the monthly chart, and it took a while, right? It took a while to just kind of get up and to get some steam. We're up top. We got some momentum on the Fu Manchu. We got momentum. We're still below the zero on the monthly, so we do need to. There's still a lot of work to do, right? Still a ton of work to do. Again, I'm not a huge fan of the MACD. It looks kind of sad. It looks kind of it needs to show like a velocity, to an impulse to get out. Okay, so yeah, so right now we have this 10.56 million. It has been fairly reliable, fairly important, and so once this monthly closes, we will adjust. Right? I mean, look at this 100. I think the 100 is right on there. Yeah, the 100 it rejected the 100 exactly. So I don't even know how that works. If this is the close, how does it jump down here for I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes these charts they trip me out. So last but not least, I know I keep saying that last but not least, but this we're going to talk about PMI. This should drop this week actually. Maybe Friday. Let me see when PMI drops, and then we can kind of. But I read somewhere it was expected to be 56. PMI index release date. First business day of the month at 10 a.m. Eastern. So it'll be. Sorry, not. It'll be released on Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it'll be released on Wednesday. And it's supposedly at 56. Supposedly it's at 56, which would be incredible. But we talked about this a long time ago. Staying above this 52 level has been very bullish. Getting above this 52 level. All right, getting above 52. Okay, getting above 52. And you just start running. You really start going. Really start going. So we stay above 52. Then we start going. Expansion. Markets, manufacturing markets look good. That's good for assets, right? That's good for assets. That means the economy is expanding. So that's what I got for today. We covered a lot of the macro. We covered individual charts. If you kind of missed out on that, I'll be going live again on Wednesday, same time. So I do offer a free Discord if you're interested. We talk about a lot of these charts. We talk about. If you're interested in a paid Patreon membership, before you do any of that, you have access to everything that I've released. You have access to all of what you're getting, what you're signing up for. All of that is included. So you're not blindsided. It's not any gotcha moments. I cover a lot of this stuff on Friday. I go deep dives into a lot of different charts. I kind of keep it kind of broad on these charts, and then going based on requests. I appreciate it, Absurd. Thanks for stopping by and supporting the channel. It does mean a lot. Thank you. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see you on Wednesday, brother. So, like I said, if you're interested in that, it'll be linked in the description. As always, I thank you for your time. I thank you for stopping by. Take it easy. Peace.